Scruffy Audio Network.
Hey guys, we're finally doing it. Hey, thanks, program director, for the 3 claps. I love when we do that. That's awesome. We got to get you a mic. Hey, I'm here on a Friday with my man Carey, Bruner. He is our H2O water guy, Planet H2O. And, you know, Chad Speck, who's been on the show a couple times, he had a great statement. And his statement was, this is really good fucking water.
I like that.
It was his
That'll
statement.
work.
And it was so funny when he said that statement a couple days ago. I was watching Instagram and I followed Jesse James, West Coast Chopper guy. Followed
I know
him
who he
back
is.
in the 90s, late 90s, because he had a small business of building bikes, and I like private owners and, and you know, how they go about running their business. And he was doing an AutoZone commercial for Instagram, and at the end he goes, they just got good fucking parts. And then he goes, "Can I say that? Can I say that on the commercial?" So I thought that was I don't know if you want to use that mission statement.
Hey man, it's free speech. I'm open for anything.
But you know, I think it'll go a long way. But he's our water guy, and he's been so gracious the last, I'd say, 2 or 3 months of bringing us tons and tons of water, and I'm shoving it down the athletes, and from the Harrison Smith to the Josh Dobbs, they're really loving the water. Getting more and more people on it to drink it, and to really, you know, actually there is a difference.
Oh yeah,
from this water to other waters. It's amazing. So I always open up a question with my athletes, and I could do the same with you.
I used to be an athlete. I still try sometimes.
Fair enough. Okay, there he goes. We got it. Our first used to statement. I love it. I guess this industry, I guess you would say, I don't know if restaurants like the hardest thing to get into, but getting into a water product and trying to make a living at it, it's got to be so tough with everything out there. Okay, so I want you to answer this question is, when did you know, and I don't know what you did before, because I met you.
I'd love to tell you the story.
Yeah, about 3 or 4 months ago, and you just said, hey, I've been trying to get water, get in touch with you, glad to meet you, and, you know, get water in, and it's like, I know you as Carey Bruner, the Planet H2O water guy, who's so nice and comes over here with pallets and pallets of water for us, but when did you know that you wanted to get in this business? Just like ask the athletes, when did you know you were special, or when did you know you had something different? When did you know you wanted to do this for a living?
Well, I mean, it's an interesting story because my family's been in the oil and gas business my entire life, and so in 2012, we drilled an exploratory well in West Tennessee, just 60 miles southwest of Nashville, and we weren't really looking for water, and as a matter of fact, water is really a bad thing in the oil and gas business, but instead of finding oil, we discovered a previously unknown artesian aquifer. So at about over 5,000 feet. So it's one of the deepest holes in the state of Tennessee. And so we found this water, and it was highly regulated because of the oil and gas industry. You have tons of inspectors and everything over there making sure everything's, you know, no pollutants are getting on the ground or anything. And we were following all the rules, testing the water, and usually it's salt water that comes up with oil and gas, but in this case it was fresh water, and the inspector was telling me, he's like, man, there's no way. I'm telling you, it's fresh water. Come out here. So they sent the state hydrologist out there. I didn't even know there was a state hydrologist, but there is one. He came out there and looked at it, and this is answering your question. When I knew, he was like, man, I think you have something really special here. You need to think about doing something with this water. This is not your typical water here. And so we got it kind of, you know, we thought about it then. We didn't really necessarily.
But you weren't in the water business at all from there.
No, we weren't. But that's kind of day one when it started. We kind of thought about what can we do with this water. I mean, we could supply golf courses, or we could, you know, do beer, or we could do all this stuff. And then we just decided, you know, if it's such great water, and we had it tested by independent environmental scientists, and all these people were just raving about the quality of the water, we decided to start a bottled water company, and that's when it kind of started. And then, of course, we had to get it approved with the state of Tennessee.
So what were you doing before you drilled water?
We were
drilling oil and
drilling
gas?
oil and gas
you were in
wells.
the family business.
Yeah, we drilled wells, so we knew how to drill wells. We weren't necessarily looking for water. We were looking for oil, but it just happened to be that instead of oil, we found water. And
where did you? I know we went to lunch with your father, but where did you drill water? Is it from our program director's hometown?
Well, no, but we did do some drilling up in from her area for oil and gas, and a lot of times we'll go to these older wells and we'll try to rework them and stuff. And there's a lot of oil and gas up where she's from.
So you got like rigs set up and stuff like that,
and pump jacks, just looking like what you see on TV. Those pump jacks going and selling oil to refineries, and that's what my family business was, Planet Energy.
So where was it that you hit your first water?
This is in Linden, Tennessee. It's in Perry County. Excuse me. So, excuse me. Got something in my throat there. We have some good water here.
Yeah, get some Planet H2O. You might want to pull down the heater for a minute and clear it up.
I'm sure that sounds really good on the audio there.
Well, I'm glad I got bottles of water for you.
Yeah, well, I drink 3 of these a day, by the way, these big bottles. So, yeah.
A lot of the athletes this morning, the 530 group, they were going through a bottle the whole time. And
yeah, it's good. It's natural electrolytes, but we'll get into that. But so we, at Perry County, Tennessee, it's if you're on your way from Nashville to Memphis and you go through Bucksnort, Tennessee, and then you go through Loretta Lynn's Dude Ranch, it's right before the river. It's right there at that exit, Hurricane Mills. Mm-hmm. It goes south about 20 miles to a little town of Linden. And so as the crow flies, we're about 5 miles outside of the town of Linden, in the middle of nowhere. I mean,
are you still drilling there now?
No. We drilled this one well, and we found the water, and we built.
So what do you do after you drill? I don't know. Do you know any of this stuff? None. What do you do after you finish? Like, you don't stay on a site, or you drill all the oil or water up and then it's done and you move on? No,
you drill the well, and then depending whether it's oil or water, you have what they call a casing plan. So you have, you're shut, there's all these different zones on the way down, water and bad water and good water and oil or gas or whatever you want. And you shut those zones off with metal piping and concrete behind it. And so whatever zone you want to produce from, that's where the open hole is, as they say. And so we found this water, 5,100, a little over 5,000 feet, and we had it all cased off, and so none of the other stuff from above could get into it. And the water, and when you're 5,000 feet below the surface, water weighs a lot. Okay, it's like eight. It's like 8 pounds per. It's heavy.
Yeah.
And
the hell are you saying?
I'm saying, where's your the water? Where does it feed from? Where does the water come from?
Well, it's Cambrian rocks. So the rocks are 500 million years old. You can't really date water percent. I mean, it's just H2O, so it's hard to date the water, but you can date the rocks. And so the Cambrian formation, 500 million years old. At about, a little over 5,000 feet, is a group of rocks that were basically on the surface of the earth 500 million years ago. And so the theory is that this water was a trapped source of water, whether it's rainfall or whatever. There's no contact with the surface, so it's not like a rainfall or a drought affects this water. It's a trapped source of water that's moving through these rocks. Think of the rocks as, it's not like a giant lake underground. Think of like a sponge with a bunch of little pores in it. And that's what the rocks are like. And so the water's moving through there. And as it moves through there, it picks up minerals. And the minerals are what creates the alkalinity or the natural pH. Every other water on the market has to artificially create this process. So if Coke or Pepsi had a source like we have, they'd be doing the exact same thing, but they don't have a source. They have to take tap water and they have to try to recreate that with artificial minerals, try to create an artificial pH, but a lot of times their water is just acidic. So this is a natural pH, natural mineral content, which is really what you want in your body. You don't want the artificial stuff, or you definitely don't want the acidity. I mean, the human body is at about 7.4 pH. I mean, 0 is pure acid, and 14 is pure alkalinity, and 7 is neutral. Okay, and so you don't want your body in an acidic state. I mean, that's what artificial sugars, soft drinks, those create an acidic state in your body, and that's what diseases and cancers feed off of an acidic state. So the goal is to try to keep your body in a more of an alkaline state. Natural fruits and vegetables, those are alkaline. Water, good water is alkaline. And so, your body does a pretty good job at regulating that on the inside too. But, if you're too much in an acidic state, that's just not a good thing really. And so this is a natural alkaline product, and it, helps with reducing, acid in your body, acid reflux or anything like that. It's good. It neutralizes your system really.
And how long have you been getting after the water thing now? Like
Since,
half a year?
Well, so in 2012 we did the well, then we had to get it approved, then we had to build a plant, and then we had to go try to get a distributor, and then we had to try to get it on the shelves at somewhere that can sell it. And all that's kind of a sales job, and so we finally, I guess, last year, 2017 was our first year on the mainstream marketplace with, Food City was probably one of the first ones. Pilot was one of the first ones. Pilot Travel Center, not travel centers, but the C-stores. Mm-hmm. Those were two of our very first kind of mainstream. And then the Three Rivers Market down over in Knoxville near downtown. But so those are some of our first ones. Then we were lucky enough to get on with Eagle Distributing, who brought us on, and they saw the potential that we had. And we have a good-looking bottle and a good story and a good product, and they needed an alkaline water. And so, so from Pilot, we did a good job. Food City, we did a good job. Then we got in Ingles, and we're in 201 Ingles in 7 states now. And
are you in Kroger?
We just got in Kroger in December, and Kroger's is, probably one of our biggest fans at this point. And we just always want to try to please Kroger because they have so many stores and do so much volume that it's good for us to stay there. We started in Kroger in December. So we're still kind of proving ourselves, but we are in what they call the Nashville division of Kroger, which is Knoxville, Huntsville, Alabama, Nashville areas. So we're just bumped up to all their stores in their division. And then hopefully from there, if we perform well enough and people go out and buy the water, that we will move up to, say, an Atlanta division or a Delta division, which is Memphis. And
well, Carey, do you see yourself on the big screen, so to speak, like on a commercial? Like a commercial with an athlete. Have you stepped into the athletic arena yet with the water?
Well, we've been trying. We thought that it really goes well with athletes because, a lot of these professional athletes these days are very familiar with the importance of an alkaline diet, and especially drinking an alkaline product. Gatorade is so full of sugar. That's essentially an acidic product.
Yeah, I don't have Gatorade in the gym. I don't. Or at my house when the athletes stay with me, I tell them to stay away from Gatorade because of the sugars in it.
So I know, Michael Jordan was this big Gatorade endorser, and that was like the 80s and 90s. That was real popular. But then people started to figure out that the sugars are obviously so bad for you and really drag you down. And so people started turning more to these alkaline waters. And I know, LeBron James is big into the alkaline water. Carmelo Anthony, Joel Embiid I can't pronounce his name, but from the 76ers. Mm-hmm. A lot of these NBA guys found out about it first. And I know Eric Berry's a big fan in the NFL of alkaline water. So this word is slowly getting out. And there's a lot of other alkaline waters on the market, but not many that are naturally alkaline.
Do you do, I know you're talking about getting into some teams, from the Browns, to maybe Chicago White Sox. I'll help you with that. Do you see yourself going in restaurants, or does bottled water in restaurants actually work?
Well, yeah, restaurants, I think it's not impossible, but typically that people don't buy a lot of bottled water in a restaurant. It just, for whatever reason, they're not into buying bottled water.
Well, I know up north, I don't know how it is in Knoxville, but the restaurants in the city, you could ask for Voss and they bring the bottle out, crack it open, pour it in your glass, and then put the bottle down. Would that be...
Yeah, we would probably need, in my opinion, you'd want to do it in a glass bottle because restaurants are really into the appearance of, it's going to look good. And plastic just doesn't have the same appeal in a restaurant. Right. But it's definitely possible, and we're open to any of that. Find the right restaurant that we can go into, we'll definitely do it. We were in the Calhoun's restaurants here for a while, and it did okay, but it wasn't a great seller. I mean, people to Calhoun's, they want to drink beer or something. They're not really into buying bottled water.
Diet Coke with some wings and fries is what they do.
But we love Calhoun's, and we would love to be in there some more. I mean, if Mr. Chase wants to give us another opportunity, we're always there. So.
When did when did you talk to Mike?
It was
a while ago?
Over a year ago. We spent about a year in Calhoun's restaurants, and part of the, we had U.S. Foods as a distributor, and that's who they use their distributing, and they use Eagle too. So it's not impossible. It just wasn't a great seller in the restaurant, but we were really just getting started too. So it doesn't mean it couldn't be successful. Yeah,
because that's the thing that I'd like to punch Carey through, and you'll know this, program director, is if you notice. How do I say this politely, not politely? You could tell that he's a hometown guy. And what I mean by that is, and I think that's why God brought us together in so many ways, is I'm going, because, I'm really just a life coach posing as a trainer in the Woodgym, but I'm Tony Robbins Jr. since now I have a podcast.
I like that. I can see that.
Is he has to, if you notice him talking, he has to think huge. He has to think, why not Kevin Durant? You know what I'm saying? Because he's thinking Calhoun's, which is great. And, I called Mike up today after this and go, hey, let's give this a thing. But I think this product is so good that it could go global. Why not global? Why not
agree.
Huge? I have people all over the country from France to California to Mexico coming in to stay and train with me, because that's the way I thought about it in 1991 when I told my college advisors, I'm going to have people come live with me. From all over the world, they're going to come train with me. And they did. I think this product is good enough to be like that. So to be honest, I would like for you to open up and go, we're going to crush it. I'm around some really, no, I'm serious. I mean, I know this is a self-help type talk, but it's big.
There is no other product on the market like ours.
And that's what I want to go to is, what's your competition? What's your best thing that you're trying to knock off, or, I'm not even thinking about anybody else. That's bullshit. Everybody's thinking about the competition.
Well, we're better than both of these competitors that I'm about to... Essentia and Fiji are two of the leaders. A lot of these athletes really are familiar with Essentia water, even though maybe some of the more...
Does it have like a Swiss label on it?
Yeah, it's black and red.
Yeah.
And they're probably the largest right now.
I'm seeing that a lot in here, and as soon as those athletes bring it in, I exchange it with the
difference, the big difference is that Essentia is processed tap water. It's just tap water pulled right from wherever they get it, and then they have to go in and reverse osmosis it, which kills everything good in the water, and it also kills everything bad, but they're required to do it because it's tap water. It's full of chemicals like chlorine, which you cannot get chlorine taste out of anything.
Right.
No matter how hard you try, you will always taste a little bit of chlorine in there. And then they have to go back in and add artificial minerals and artificially alkalize it. And so it's a processed tap water. It's made in a factory. It doesn't taste as good, but they were the first ones to kind of start this alkaline wave, so they have a lot of credibility out there for that reason. A lot of the athletes drink them, but I think the more and more people that find out about this water, they're gonna realize. Eric Berry is one of these people who have found out about this through the juice bar downtown in Market Square across the street from A3.
They carry your water?
They can't. Well, they're not. The juice bar there went out of business, unfortunately. Not because of us, but they just, whatever reason, they went out
on that corner right there. I know what you're talking about.
And, but, so our model fit well with them, a natural juice, and they wanted to use a good water. And so Eric Berry found out about us, and he was an Essentia drinker, and he started drinking ours, and we explained to him the importance of having a natural alkaline water versus a processed tap water, they artificially make in a factory, and he was all on board with that. And so we've been trying to supply him as much water as he wants, And
is Fiji the same?
Fiji's not as kind of the same in the fact that it's an aquifer, an artesian aquifer from Fiji, but
that sounds interesting.
But and that's kind of their thing. They've been around for a long time, but I mean.
You know why I think of Fiji? And I know that Carey, being the water guru here, is, I think, a square bottle.
Oh, and everyone does. And the red flower. And they
the square bottles killed it. It's like, the square bottle water.
They don't, their water doesn't come from a very far depth, so it's not a protected aquifer like ours is.
Look at them speaking knowledge. I love it.
And so you can imagine with all the nuclear testing that's gone on in the South Pacific, what kind of contaminants are in. I mean, who knows what's in that water, really? And you can never get that
3
out.
eyeballs.
Yeah, exactly. And not to mention they have to ship it from an island of Fiji. So, in the world of environmental consciousness these days, what's your carbon footprint? I mean, you're shipping a ton of water on a giant ship to the United States. I mean, not only does it cost a lot of money, it uses a lot of oil and gas and pollutes a lot of environments.
Yeah, I agree.
So, along the way. And so, this is the best water in the world, and it's from right here in Tennessee. So
I love it. I wish I know, because Carey and I have had some conversations, some lunch dates, and showing me some of the bottles. I love that metal bottle. I think that is
we've
so
looked
cool. And I know it's so hard to recycle or whatever, but I even love your colors. I mean, you got my favorite color, blue, Carolina blue. I appreciate you doing that for me. But I love the colors, and that bottle is kick ass.
Well, and that's a big part of the bottled water industry is, you got to look cool too. I mean, it's good to have a great product, but
doesn't it get to the point, just being with understanding some of the distribution of the energy drinks that I've worked with some customers and clients before, is like shelf demand of this person pays, know somewhat knowledge of that, they pay this much and they get this eye level, they pay this much, it's below here, they pay this much, it's next to this, you pay this much, it's next to this.
Yeah, they're called slotting fees.
Slotting fees.
And so these grocery stores and whatever, a lot of times will charge. It's just like buying a piece of real estate. I mean, that's your real estate. I mean, fortunately we've had a lot of believers in our product with the Krogers and the Food Cities, that they've been. I mean, they really liked our bottle, they liked our story, they liked our look, they like our product, and so we've been fortunate in that regard to not get hit up too hard there.
But it is a huge business of like the startup costs, like we were talking about, because you have to buy that slotting fee or shelf space or eye level. I've heard millions and millions of dollars to go in for a monster drink to go right here next to this drink, and then they get a % of that. So it's like, how's the profit cost work?
There's kind of two ways to look at it, though. I mean, you can either have I'm not going to say a crappy product, but you can have a product that maybe they're not that excited about, so you pay them to get on there, and they'll take your money and say, okay, we'll put you on, just pay us.
Right.
Or you can have a great product and a great look like ours that they really like, and they don't charge us slotting fees because they just like our product and it's so good. I mean, of course, we got to perform for them, too.
Okay, so you don't always have to pay a slotting fee.
Not always.
Okay.
Not always. And if you have a good enough product that they really like and believe, these buyers who work for these companies, they are the ones that make the decisions.
I got you.
And if you're a good enough salesman and you have a good enough product, maybe you don't have to pay a slotting fee.
So where do you see, how long you've been in the business with the water? A year?
No, I mean, it's hard to put an exact date on it, but I mean, we've technically been around since 2013, but in 2015 was our big rollout, and we sponsor the steeplechase in Nashville every year. We're the official water of the horse race in Nashville, steeplechase.
Yeah,
that was really our first event that we ever did, and we're doing it again this year in just a couple weeks here.
I'd like to go to that. I've never been to that.
Fun.
I've been to Kentucky Derby, but I've never been to the steeplechase, and they say that's much more fun.
It's very similar because, it's not like a circular track. It kind of weaves around, and the horses are jumping over things into water, and they, it's a little bit slower paced. It's not like they're as fast as the Kentucky Derby, but it's really just a big party out there. Everyone's got their hats on, and their seersucker suits.
It's a short ride up, right?
Yeah, it's right there, right close to downtown Nashville. It's beautiful. It's a gorgeous place, and the horses are incredible. It's just like...
Oh, this is the one in Nashville. This is in Keeneland. That's in Lexington.
Well, Keeneland's good too, but I've been there. But this is in Nashville, the steeplechase, and so yeah, it's fun. We sponsor the water for them.
So you do that event. So if I had to ask you a question, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but if I had to ask you a question about which one would you rather get into first, would it be stores or sports teams?
Well, I think they kind of go hand in hand, really. I mean, you want to be in stores because you have to have volume. I mean, you're never going to make it without selling a lot of water, really.
And what are you doing with your advertising? Like, we talk commercials like let's just say Harrison Smith does a H2O commercial, or a Josh Dobbs. Or
well, there's always commercials, but I mean, the big thing these days, as you know, is social media, the Instagrams, the Twitter, the Facebooks. I mean, that's where most people are paying. I mean, TV is, I mean, it's still there, but not many people watch as much TV anymore. I mean, it's more about your mobile device and those social media programs. So the big thing is to get a social media influencer, someone like you mentioned, any of those guys who can promote you on social media, and that's really where most of the marketing these days happens, on social media.
I mean, with all the influential people we got coming through this gym, it would be a no-brainer.
Yeah.
And I just told Carey within the next year, just make sure you take me on the plane once in a while.
You're coming.
The team,
You're coming.
H2O Planet Water.
You'll be there with us. You'll be right there with us.
That'll be amazing. I mean, because I really do see it growing. I mean, because I got this stocked at the house. My girls drink it.
Once you drink this water, you will be... People don't really understand. They think, oh, water's water, but water is not water. And there's a big difference in taste in waters. You take some Aquafina and you put it next to ours, you will be blown away at the taste difference. We were voted, by the way, the 4th best tasting bottled water in the world at the International Bottled Water Tasting Competition in Berkeley Springs, West Virginia. It happens every single year. And hundreds of bottled waters from all over the world are there. And, they have chefs and professional tasting people there, and we were 4th place in the world as best tasting bottled water.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and what it is the mineral. The mineral content is like an ingredient list.
So yeah, the mineral content. That's what I was going to ask you again. Is I've had a couple people when they taste the water saying they could taste. I don't know, like a seltzer or sodium. Do you think it's their palate that is off? Because it's usually the people that don't drink a lot of water, and the people, I'm not going to name the names, but the people that drink water are drinking like the worst bottled water.
Well, they're used to that.
Theirs is probably, it's
like if you drink purified water, that's plain hydrogen and oxygen. That's all it is. And you get used to a certain way things taste. And I guess if you drink a mineral water, there are, like for example, I was reading about that this morning. The silica, there's a lot of silica in our water. That gives it a really kind of a smooth, what they say, a lot of people say it's soft, but that's the silica coming through. It's a very smooth kind of taste. And believe it or not, there's water sommeliers. People who drink wine are called sommeliers.
Oh, yeah. I learned that this year. And
there's water sommeliers now who they, go around tasting waters and grade the waters on how they taste. I mean, in Los Angeles, they have water bars where they have waters from all over the world, and you can order a bottle of water from Switzerland or a Planet H2O or whatever you want, and it's a popular thing out there. They're pairing waters with food these days. I mean, they're kind of.
Do they have a Tito's sommelier? Or did you say that?
Probably.
I think that would be you.
Yeah,
that would be. That is kind of cool. But I did want to ask you that because I've had 2 people go. It tastes funny, and I'm like, what do you mean by funny?
Well, I mean,
and I've watched the water they drink.
Yeah,
and it is.
Well, they're used to,
as you say, the worst water because now I'm a water snob.
Right. Well, it's important. I mean, if you read some of these testimonials from some of these athletes who actually do support and know about alkaline water, they'll tell you that you have to have a water with a high pH. I mean, and natural electrolytes. We were talking about the Gatorade, and they always promote electrolytes. Mm-hmm. Really, all that is they're putting sugar and sodium in there, and they're calling that electrolytes.
Right.
Because, as you work out, you want to replenish your body. I mean, you think, like, salt would dehydrate you, but you have to have a little bit of sodium going back into your body to keep you hydrated.
Right.
Also.
So your 3 electrolytes, for people out there that don't know or understand what electrolytes are. Electrolytes are sodium chloride and potassium. And most of the time, Carey's spot on, is they front it with sugars. Instead, maybe that's what people are tasting. It's just a
well, if you notice on our bottle,
water.
We have the sodium and the potassium and magnesium and silica, all those.
So you've got everything in there.
And so it's natural.
So it's electrolyte water.
Natural electrolytes, though. It's not artificially created in a factory. This is straight out of the ground. 500 million year old rocks, never been exposed to the surface of the earth in 500 million years until you open the bottle. I mean, it's not exposed to any atmospheric pollutants, anything from the surface of the earth and our modern technology and all the byproducts of manufacturing and things like that. I mean, we brought up the tritium also. I know you're a big fan of the tritium.
I love the tritium.
That's a whole...
Big shout out to Harrison Smith with the tritium free.
Well, so tritium people don't have any idea about this, but the entire surface of the earth, every bit of water that's exposed to the surface of the earth, your tap water, the lakes, the oceans, is contaminated with a radioactive material called tritium.
Okay, so give me a mission statement for the Woodgym in here, for the trainer in here from New Jersey, not that smart, little uneducated with stuff. What's a good statement that I could say? Because everybody's like, why do I want to drink this water? And I go, dude, it's tritium free. And they're like, I don't know what that means. So what would be a statement for me to say to my athletes?
Well, it's America's premium natural alkaline water. I mean, that's a mouthful. I guess we can kind of shorten that down, but
I don't know if you've listened to my last sentence, but yeah. How would I shorten that down? Because to be honest, I don't know if I want to do this on the air or off the air, but I'll do it on the air.
Natural
I didn't know
water.
it had all the electrolytes in there. So I would sell it as an electrolyte water. Like, dude, drink this over Gatorade.
Well, some of this stuff is still evolving. I mean, you have to keep in mind we're still kind of a new company that really has just been out on the market.
So I think I want to sell. Can I sell it that way?
Yes,
It's like,
absolutely.
This has all the electrolytes. You're telling me this has sodium, potassium,
it's
and
right
chloride.
there on the back of it's right on the back of the bottle there.
Sodium, potassium, chloride's in here.
Potassium, not potassium chloride. I mean, chloride would indicate, like a chlorine, which would be they're putting that in there to kill any kind of bacteria or something. But we don't have that in our water. I mean, there's potassium, calcium, magnesium, silica, sodium are naturally occurring. So not at all. And, and this is another thing. If you look at the back of the bottle, TDS, that's called total dissolved solids. A lot of people will tell you that you want a total dissolved solids of 0, but that's not true at all. Like if you look at Icelandic water, I mean, it's melted glacier water. It has 0 minerals in it. It's just melted glacier water. It has a very low TDS, but you really want a TDS of where ours is in the mid 300s because that's what the minerals are. The minerals make up the TDS, and that's what gives it its taste, but then it's natural electrolytes, like you said, also.
Perfect. That's what I'm going to go with. I mean, that for me, for the athletes, because, one of my athletes just got in town yesterday and started his 6 a.m. workout and was sipping on Gatorade. And he's like, man, I need this, to get going or whatever. And I'm like, man, put that down, try this water. And I gave him a big old bottle of that. Well, so you do know your water.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting getting it. Yeah, he's the water guru.
Let me just finish my main point about the tritium. So the whole world's water that's exposed to the surface is contaminated with tritium. Fukushima is the nuclear plant in Japan that was destroyed by the earthquake and the tsunami a few years ago. I mean, nuclear bombs that have been blown up since World War II and just testing and all the different nuclear reactors, they leak tritium into the environment. Today, as we speak, the world's surface is contaminated with tritium, radioactive material. Our water, coming from a contained, sealed aquifer, has no tritium in it. So originally we were thinking that was a great selling point for our water, the tritium free, but it's really kind of a hard message for people to understand. And so it's hard to explain that on a bottle, but it's true. It is tritium free, and that's a good thing. So the more and more people that find out about it, you Google tritium, you're going to be amazed what pops up on your computer. You're going to be blown away by the contamination of what's in our environment right now.
I'm going to do that today. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's an interesting story. It's just a little complicated for your average Kroger consumer to understand, but it's truth.
That's pretty neat. I mean, that's I got some education today, and I'm glad we did this podcast because I wanted to really understand, because I endorse the water, and I want to make sure I'm endorsing it. And I'm not as smart as you with the water stuff, but I understand the tritium free so much more now than I did,
Well, the natural, I see that, like you said, the natural electrolytes, that's where your guys are really going to understand this too. I mean, it's a natural, it's not artificially created. I mean, those are factory-made things with a big marketing program behind it. This is an all-natural product, so you're putting something really healthy into your body. So these guys, especially your guys that are so in tune with their bodies and professional athletes, I mean, they need that kind of quality in their...
Well, what I do a lot of times now is I make my coffee with it in the morning.
Man.
So I don't even go to the faucet. I pour the bottle in there.
I do that every morning, and the coffee...
It's totally different.
Oh, it tastes so much better with our water. It's amazing. Chlorine really destroys the taste of anything. And for that matter, we have some beer. People are interested in doing some craft brews with our water. They're convinced it's going to make an incredible beer. Whiskey people have approached us. I'm not a huge fine whiskey like a Pappy Van Winkle, these expensive whiskeys that people like.
Yeah.
If you put a little bit of water, people claim it is like the best drink they've ever had in their life. And I've had so many people tell us that. So there's all kinds of different options for things like that for sure. And we're always looking for the next newest, greatest thing, you know. But right now it's with the bottled water, and we're happy to be in the stores, but we need people to promote it like yourself. So I thank you so much for that.
No, Carey, I thanks for coming in this morning. I know it's early. I want to make one point, since I'm Italian and I love pizza pie, is you could actually make your dough.
Oh man, I'm sure it would be great.
I'm serious. You could have like tritium-free pizza dough.
Well, you could do anything like that with it for sure. I mean, the sky's the limit with our aquifer that we have there. I mean, you could do so many different products.
I'm serious. I mean, you could really like my hot tea at night. I do a sleepy time tea at night when I do that, and it's really, you know, I go sleepy time with my tritium-free water.
You start texting me at 4:35 in the morning. I'm like,
I'm ready to go.
You better go to sleep. You go to sleep early, don't you?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Last night was about 10:15. I don't function on much sleep. But man, I love this time. I think it's going to blow up. I think the sky's the limit with it, because I love it, and I don't endorse, as you know, coming in here, I don't endorse anything. I don't have any supplements in here. I'm not a big believer on a lot of bullshit products to get you going with the training. You just got to get up, punch the clock, and go to work. But I do love hydration. I know, I'll give you a tip, 17 to 23% of timing, hand reaction, speed, and strength is off if you are not hydrated properly with your body, and your body is 75 to 80% water.
The most important thing you can put in your body is water, and stay hydrated.
Your energy levels up, your body fat's down, your water takes up the cells. So usually my guys are dehydrated. They're also in a fat state. They're also in a slow state. They're also a hand reaction time state. So I think water is awesome. And you can live, you could go, what's the thing? You could go further without eating than you can water.
Right, right.
So I think it's pretty cool.
Well, along those lines, I know we're finishing up here, but so if you drink one of the bad waters, like an Aquafina or a Dasani or a Smart Water, those products being acidic, they actually leach the minerals out of your body because they don't have any minerals. So what it does is it's like, hey, we don't have any minerals, so now the water it leaches.
We're going to suck the minerals out of you.
Yeah, and so whereas with an alkaline water, it aids your hydration more. And
it's amazing. I mean, you really know the difference now. Now that I know the difference, and I've been to. We didn't even talk about universities and getting into the big time universities, but
they need to.
I'm amazed some of these universities and what products they're putting out there, and then I have to grab something and I can't even drink it.
Yeah.
And I've become a water snob. I mean, I like good coffee and good water, my two biggest things.
Well, you see I'm a huge Tennessee basketball fan, and I pay attention, and Rick Barnes will pull up his Aquafina or Dasani or whatever they're drinking there, and I'm thinking,
no way. Man,
it's acidic. You're putting an acidic product. It's not good water. People think water's water, and it's not.
No, it's
true.
not. It's not.
So,
I'm going to work on that also.
Well, we'll keep you stocked up for as much water as you need. I'd love to send any of your guys that ever, I want to put this on recording here, and let them know if they ever need water, let me know, and I will send it to them. We've sent CJ Spiller water, Eric Berry, some other people with A3. They all love our water, and we try to keep them stocked up as much as possible because I know that these guys need it, and they would be good. They would promote our product so well.
Yeah.
And so any of their training camps, we'll send a whole pallet up there to them.
Could you send to their houses?
Oh yeah, we do it. That's what we do with CJ Spiller. We send it directly to his house, and he'll give us a little shout out on social media. That's really all we ask is just say, hey, thanks for the water on whatever platform they like to use.
That's cool. Yeah, I'll get on that with my guys for sure and get some addresses and work on that, especially in the month of May. Yeah. All right, Carey, man, I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, man. I've really enjoyed getting to know you guys, and I really appreciate everything you've done for us. And just let me know. I'm going to keep you stocked up with water. All your people need it.
And I love it. And the podcast is for platforms from Carey to Emily, Z to Spec to you hear their stories and watch them grow. I'm just doing what I'm doing, but now, my shine is your shine. So I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, buddy. Bye-bye. Bye.